When you think for a minute about all the different kinds of containers and vessels that humans have fashioned over the years to contain their beverages and foods, how time-consuming to make, and how fragile they were, this kind of container would have been unimaginable to them. While pottery like this is still being made today, it is more of a craft, an art form, than a practical way to make containers. And at Ball, we consider our manufacturing process to be an art form as well. And it's an intricate, exacting, state-of-the-art process too, producing over 10 million bottles in a single day. Today, the plastic bottle is a safe, clean, and preferred container for a variety of beverages. In fact, more than 30 billion of these bottles are made each year just for soft drinks. And at Ball, we think we make the best plastic containers in the industry. We'll tell you why. This is how we start, when a resin called polyethylene terephthalate is delivered to our plants. That's too big a word to remember, so we just call it PET. Each of these rail cars contains about 200,000 pounds of these PET pellets. The pellets are removed by a powerful vacuum system that pipes them into storage silos, first passing through a filtration system that removes any residual fines or strings. Now, we should point out that not all plastic resins are the same. Depending on their molecular structures, that is, how the molecules are arranged, they will have different strengths. This is called intrinsic viscosity, or simply IV. The higher the IV, the stronger the plastic. We need to keep the different resins separated. We do that by coating the vacuum lines. The different resins are stored in silos according to the type and IV. Then, depending on what type of plastic is needed, we use vacuum to remove it from the silos and send it to a dryer. To make good bottles, the PET resin must be very dry. So we send it to a dehumidifying system, which uses heated air to reduce moisture in the resin to an absolute minimum. It will spend from 4 to 6 hours in this dryer. The resin is then sent to the injection molder. Here at the injection molder, we will make preforms, which resemble plastic test tubes. We make different sized preforms for different sized bottles. We can also add colored dyes to produce a variety of colors in the end product, as desired by the customer. The plastic resin is melted, then injected under high pressure into multiple cavity molds, producing as many as 96 preforms at a time. The preforms drop out of the injection molder onto a conveyor system, which takes them to the cooling or conditioning tower. The time they spend in the conditioning tower allows the preforms to equalize in temperature so that they can be used in a continuous fashion. Preforms can then be used immediately or stored for future use. Now, if you're wondering how this little preform becomes this big bottle, we'll step back into history again. You're probably familiar with the work of glass blowers, who take molten glass and blow it into various forms and shapes. This again is a craft that still exists today, and the technique is still used to make glass bottles and plastic bottles, only in a highly automated way. To form the plastic bottles, we reheat the preform in an oven with high-intensity infrared lamps, then use air pressure and a stretch rod to form it into a bottle shape. This machine is called a stretch blow molder. Here, the technique is similar to that used by the glass blower, except that the stretch blow molder converts preforms into beverage containers at speeds up to 28,000 bottles per hour. Infrared lamps heat the preform until it is soft. The threaded area at the top of the preform is shielded from the heat and remains hard. Then the heated preform is transferred into a 3-piece mold. Air pressure is delivered in 2 phases. The pre-blow phase uses a metal stretch rod along with low-pressure air to stretch the preform vertically. When the bottle reaches its full length, The second phase uses high-pressure air to form the plastic against the walls of the mold. This is what gives the container its shape. Since the walls of the mold are water-cooled, the soft plastic hardens when it touches them. The thick threaded area of the preform is maintained while the lower part is stretched. That gives us a sturdy neck on which to place a closure after the filling process. Date coding is applied to give us the ability to track and trace problems throughout the process. All through this process, consistent quality is maintained with advanced electronic inspection equipment used by highly trained technicians. Now we can put a label on the finished container according to our customer's needs. The bottles are conveyed to a high-speed, roll-fed labeling machine. Here, the customer's label is applied, again at very high speeds and with regular inspection for quality assurance. The finished bottles now are ready for bulk palletizing or case packaging per customer requirements. Full pallets are strapped to keep them stable and make them easier to handle during loading and shipping. When required, a plastic film stretch wrap can be used to further protect the finished bottles. The pallets are held in temporary storage before shipment to the customer for filling. And just a further note, very little is wasted during our production process. Defective bottles or preforms are sent to a regrinding operation, enabling us to either blend the ground material back into the plastic bottle making process or ship it out to be used by manufacturers of other plastic products. Yes, we have come a long way from ancient clay pottery and glass blowing to today's modern plastic beverage container. And by blending state-of-the-art equipment, stringent quality assurance, and highly trained people, Ball will continue to be a leader in producing plastic containers.